baby. It's time for TNA on Insiders Pro Wrestling. TNA, TNA, Are we ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to TNA Wrestling on Insiders Pro Wrestling. So thank you all for joining me this week. We're back after a little bit of a hiatus, but we are back. So thank you all for staying patient with us and hanging with us until we get this debut on AMC, which is next week. So I just want to briefly go over our schedule for next week, if you don't mind, before we get into the evening. Hello, everyone. So we've got Between the Ropes on Sunday, 7:30, Fireflies Forever on Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And then, if you notice, next Thursday, TNA Wrestling, our watch-along starts for that at 8:30. So 8:30 next week is when we will begin. That's when we will get the debut episode of TNA Wrestling on AMC. So come join us for that. We'll have a little bit later start, but we'll still be here doing our best with following the action in TNA Wrestling. And really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a huge debut for TNA Wrestling, and I cannot wait to see what they do. So let me welcome all of you in real quick, and then we'll get going with the evening before the show gets started. So we've got Christopher, we've got Derek, we've got Hassan, Katie, Marvin, Bonkers, and yes, I did see that name. Not a fan of it. Just going to throw that out there. KJ Carter, what's up? Brandon Barnes, hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining. Like I said, if you don't mind, please drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. We're glad you're here. We do TNA Wrestling typically every single week, except for the holiday season. But we're back now, so hopefully you all can spread the word for us. Let folks know that we're back. Spread the word with friends who don't normally watch TNA, because I feel like this year is going to be really special, and this partnership with AMC is going to be really special. So, all right, Let's see who else we've got. Sean Rousseau, Brandon Wayne Lewis, Chris Gregg. What's up? What's up? What's up? How are you this evening? All right, folks. So let's take a look at this week's preview of the card, and then we will talk about it on the other side. Should be a lot of fun tonight. So here we go. All right, folks. So that's this week's card. I will put that up on the screen real quick. And let me know in the chat what match or segment are you looking forward to the most this evening. I think we all can pretty much assume that the Mike Santana and Frankie Kazarian contract signing will not go well, just given history of wrestling and contract signings. Those things typically don't go well. So I don't know why this one would be any different than that. I'm really looking forward to Order 4's address, but I really want to see what everyone in the chat has to say in terms of what you're looking forward to. Of course, Derek is leaning with anything in the Knockouts division. We may not question his motives. We'll just take him at his word. We want to ask him what his motives are with that. Bonker said, Ali said on Delise Salcido that he signed. Yes. So that's a couple things I wanted to go through. Couple bits of news. One, it's been reported that Mustafa Ali has in fact re-signed with TNA. That's huge news. Also, BDE has signed with TNA. I think that's huge news as well. And I think one of the reasons, aside from the fact that he's a very talented wrestler, I think, and seems to fit right in with TNA, is he has a presence on social media. And that matters in today's wrestling viewing cycle. I mean, you have to have some folks that draw you to that program. And I feel like with his followers and his story, that will draw some people to watch TNA. And I'm really excited about his future there and what he's going to do in the business as a whole. So yeah, that's really awesome news there. I did see that Jake Something has officially signed with AEW. He has a different name. I'm going to always call him Jake Something. There are some times where you don't need to mess with people's names. If it was a trademark or a copyright issue, that's one thing. But if it wasn't, well, we got to change things up. But anyway, I'm just old, so maybe that's just me being old and irritated, so irritable. Chris Gregg says the TNA IC match. Okay, that is going to be a good one, Stacks. And you got to watch out for Ariana Grace. You know she's going to be there. So what role is she going to play into that? Mr. Stormy says, on a side note, after the preview, I just started watching Noah Wiley's series, The Pit. Awesome show, by the way. Awesome show. I have not finished the first season, but I will, and it is a great show. Who do you have? Man, I gotta be honest. I don't know who I want to go with. I think I'm gonna go with Miami. And the reason I say Miami is I feel like with Carson Beck's experience and the defense that they have and the young playmakers that they have on offense, I feel like they can be very explosive. They've got to challenge that defense of Ole Miss, and I think they can. So I'm going to go with Miami. If you had to make me put a score on it, I'm going to go 31-28. Don't hold me to that. But listen, the quarterback from Ole Miss, as someone who's a D2 athlete, seeing him do this on this stage is pretty awesome as well. So I'm kind of rooting for him too, but I think in terms of the football X's and O's, I think Miami wins. James Chadwick, what's up, man? How you doing? Um, Good to see you. Hey, we don't take off for being late. There's no such thing as being late. You got here before the show started. That's perfectly fine. All I've been doing is running my yap. Katie says the system match, also TNA international match. Yeah. Conrad is in the house. What's up, Conrad? Y'all go subscribe to Everything Pro Wrestling. Support Conrad. Listen, AEW's been on a streak, and Conrad does a great job covering them and so much more. So definitely want to go check out what he has to say. Good to see you this evening. Derek says that Miami D is hella. Yeah, that D line is nasty, real nasty. So yeah, honestly, I want Miami to win too, and I'm just gonna put this out there. I'm so tired of the whole SEC is better than everybody thing. Like, I'm just sick of it. And while it is a very while it is a very great conference and historically great, that it's not the greatest of all time. It is the best in college football right now and has been for a few years. But I mean, there's been some other champions from other conferences in there. So I just get tired of that. And I don't think that anyone from, unless they troll people, I don't think any fans from like Duke or North Carolina are going to be like, oh, the ACC won the national championship if Miami wins. I would do it just to troll people, but I mean, you can maybe see what I mean there. But yes, Lane Kiffin needs to start getting bonuses. He just needs to focus on the Tigers in Baton Rouge. So Barry Monkey says, good luck to Jake something in AEW. Not like TNA ever used him properly. 100% agree with that statement. Barry Monkey, hello to you. Let's see. Derek says, our time is up. I feel good to see other conferences shine. Yeah, I mean, just look at your record in bowl games this bowl season and playoff. And I don't say that to, like, I'm not one of those people trying to stir the pot on that whole debate, because I acknowledge the greatness. But after a while, if I'm like bottom school every year in the SEC in football, and just because Georgia won it makes me feel like I'm better than other conferences just because someone in my conference won it, I don't like that logic. So Brandon saying, is it me or does Don Callis family have too many people? Oh, Brandon, you must know that in my mind, I plan on using that particular topic to in a sell or no sell. So I'll give you my answer on Sunday. James, I still haven't watched Dynamite from last night. Fell asleep about midnight in my chair and woke up just after 2 a.m. Hey, I didn't get a chance to watch it last night either. That's normally my Thursday thing. I normally watch it after I do this. I catch up on wrestling for the week after this. So I'll probably do that this evening. Clown, what's up? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing well in the chat, and it looks like we're about to get started here any second now. So again, let me know if you haven't already, what match or segment are you looking forward to most this evening? Um, Derek saying Cal's family, aka NWO Wolfpack. Cal's family is becoming NWO with too many members. They have quite a few members. They do have quite a few members. My only well, like I said, I'll get into it on Sunday. I just want to see more out of the former TNA World Champion over there. But that's just me. I want to see him do a little bit more. And as we know, JDC is wrapping up his run here. So we do have a match tonight between the System and the team of the Hardys, Leon Slater and Cedric Alexander. So that's going to be one of the last times we see him with the crew. So we're kicking off the show right now, kind of going back over that. Derek, early Super Bowl prediction. Man, this season in football in general has just absolutely been chaotic. I mean, from a college standpoint and from the NFL standpoint. And don't even get me started on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not even going to talk about them. That's the only thing I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Full stop. All right. So I think on the NFC side, I like two teams that they're like the two teams that stand out for me the most. And they're kind of my front runners, and that's Seattle and San Francisco. Those two are my two teams that I'm looking at like, okay, I think I can see either one of them in the Super Bowl. The AFC is a little bit trickier for me to pick out because I can make a case for the Patriots. I can make a case for the Broncos. You can't forget that regardless of the type of season that you feel like he had, you can't forget about Josh Allen and those Buffalo Bills being in there and their experience in the playoffs. But I'm going to go with something completely off the wall. I believe in moments, in momentum, and I believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers. And because 2025 was wild, and I think 2026 could get even wilder, I think we're going to see Triple H have to explain why he's not handing a belt to Tony Khan, because I think the Jags win the Super Bowl. So give me chaos, give me that, and let me bring it back to wrestling with that. But I do think the Jags, with the run that they're on and the momentum and the feeling around their team, I do think that they could win the Super Bowl this year. They just feel like a team of destiny to me. So yeah, I think Triple H is going to have to be like, look, there are some things I can do. I ain't doing that one. And then we're going to have to give them grief about it. So give me the chaos theory. But the Hardys are kicking off the show. Matt Hardy addressing the righteous, calling them sickos. He's telling them that they've crossed the line. Talking about when they took him out of the arena. Talking about a smoky ritual room. You haven't missed it yet, James. That's first break. First break, we'll go over food. But you'll have to let me know the toppings, my friend. You've crossed the line and you can never return from that. That's not respect. That's not admiration. That was blasphemy. Says Matt Hardy. Here's Jeff Hardy. You want to print out pictures of our families? Yes, Christopher. It is live next week. It's the debut episode on AMC. So it is going to be live. There's going to be a lot that's going to happen next week. So definitely tune in for that. The Righteous. We're about to get Vincent and Dutch out here. James saying next week is huge for TNA. It absolutely is. It really is. They have an opportunity to really solidify themselves in wrestling and gain more fans right off the bat than most companies do when they are in this type of transition. So I'm really hopeful that they knock it out of the park next week and they get a ton of eyes on the show. Let's see. Getting a war of words here between Vincent and Matt Hardy, and Vincent saying, we'd love to share the ring with you. Dutch says, we're not threats. He says, the Righteous are die Hardys. Man, this Vince is saying this wasn't our intention. Matthew, Jeffrey, if we are to do this, I want this to be a friendly competition. And at the end of it all we're looking for is a little peace with you guys, says Vincent. Matt says, you don't get peace. You trespassed into our private lives. You will never, ever see peace. Vincent says, you can trust us. I don't trust Vincent. Vincent says, in this industry, we're all here because we're not all there. That's a great line. Hardy's saying, let's do it here in El Paso. Crowd is behind it. They want to do this now. Vincent says, we can't do that. That's something we'd like to prepare for, going against greatness. A tag team that is forever. But there is Genesis, says Vincent. The creation, the rebirth of the Righteous. Dig what I'm saying? We dig, Vincent. Genesis, we are going to get the Righteous versus the Hardys. That's going to get very interesting, I believe. So, man, I'm looking forward to that one. Genesis is probably going to be a long show, but it's going to be a great show. Sean Rousset saying, this is random, but would love to see the Righteous in a Rob Zombie or Kevin Smith horror movie. That's not random. I would absolutely love that, Sean. So, Derek saying, just got a TNA Impact Mac commercial during college football. Wow, AMC commercial. Awesome. Gia Miller, James is rating the show pretty highly. She's back here with Steve Maclin talking about getting his title back, the international title. Hello, Arthur. How are you? Eric Young, who I don't know if folks saw the picture he posted, but man, is Eric Young jacked. EY says we all know that we know that you're on your side. I tried to show you the truth. He says I haven't convinced you yet. Plain and simple. You know it has to be done tonight, and if you don't complete your mission, then we will. The cleanse is coming. The cleanse is coming, folks. Eric Young. Yeah, Eric Young is in such phenomenal shape. Shout out to Eric Young. Just dude is tremendous. And he's one of my Mount Rushmore folks in TNA. And man, dude is jacked right now. Derek saying these boys out here hitting tonight. All right, so they got a little pad popping going on in the game. I hear you. Up next, we've got Dani Luna going up against Harley Hudson. So should be a very, very interesting match in the Knockouts division. But with that being said, as we always do in the first break of the evening, we are going to talk about food, folks. So tell me in the chat, what did you have today? What's on the menu? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, doesn't matter. Let me know. Let me know what you had. James already told me he had pizza, so I'm asking him to tell me what toppings. And right now we are seeing a throwback to Tanahashi and AJ Styles in TNA. Wow, this is a throwback right here. Wow. So let me know in the chat. Marvin saying rice, chicken, and beans. Sounds good. Yeah, this was such a great match. Derek saying sweet and sour meatball and rice bowl the wife makes. She's hey yo. Derek says he's had his dinner, but dessert.
Giggity, giggity, giggity. All right.
Will be a little bit later. We hear you, Derek. Brandon said I had Wendy's. What'd you have from Wendy's, Brandon? Pizza for Brandon Wayne Lewis. Brandon Barnes had Wendy's. James says create my own cheese and tomato base with bacon, beef, sausage, ham. Ooh, that sounds wow. James, I need a slice, man. I need a slice. Had scrambled eggs, scrapple, and potato cakes. Scrapple, man, it's been years since I had scrapple. It's been years. Can't find it up here in upstate New York, or maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places. James says, oh, and chicken. Little Caesars, bacon, and pepperoni stuffed crust pizza. Here's what I'm going to say, too. Folks, don't sleep on Little Caesars. It's actually pretty good. Don't hate on it. Give it a chance. Their stuffed crust is pretty good. The was it crunch crust or whatever it is? That's pretty good. I had that with my kids. They enjoyed that. So, all right, folks, we're about to come back from break, and as they said, the match coming up after the break is Dani Luna taking on Harley Hudson. So let me know in the chat, who is your pick for this match? James said I completely forgot Tanahashi was in TNA, let alone against AJ Styles. James has Dani Luna. Let me know in the chat who you got. TNA Thursday Night Impact. AMC next Thursday, folks, starting at 9 p.m. Sorry for my international friends, but that again will change our start time to 8:30. So again, next Thursday we will start at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So there we go. There's our schedule for next week. Katie says, little sandwiches. Do you know what topping on a couple of them I'm talking about? Having 2 chocolate chunk cookies. Okay, that sounds good. What type of sandwiches did you have? Brandon said 10 nuggets and fries. Sean Rousset is saying Dani Luna. Christopher, Dani Luna. Brandon Barnes, Dani Luna. Katie West, Harley Hudson. Brandon Wayne Lewis, Harley Hudson. I'm always up late, so an hour difference ain't that bad. Could have been worse. Very true very true statement there from James. Here we go. We've got Myla Grace coming out to the ring with Harley Hudson. So many of you are picking Dani Luna. A couple of you are picking Harley Hudson. This would be a huge win for Harley Hudson if she were to win. I can tell you that Dani Luna, for me, seems like she's in that next range of staying in that title picture. So this would be a huge win if Harley could get it. So Derek saying Harley, 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 and James is admiring Myla Grace. So at least we know Derek and James are awake at the moment. Dani Luna did not wait. She went right after Harley Hudson, is dominating right off the bat. Wow, Dani Luna dominant right from the start. Scoop slammed there. Dani just kind of stalking her right now across the ring. Scary sight for Harley Hudson. Let's see. Up. Harley's trying to reverse that. She did. She has a sleeper locked in, but you can never underestimate the power of Dani Luna. They're talking about the rest of the card for tonight, what we have on the rest of the show. James says, I won't say what I was about to say, a bit too rude. Thank you, James, for self-moderating. I appreciate that. Dani Luna is just in complete control, talking trash to Myla Grace as she's beating down Harley Hudson with those punches. Katie saying one of them was White. It was White Castle. It was a cheeseburger. Okay, the other two I don't know what spread from church. Okay, White Castle. Absolutely love White Castle. I walked an absolutely ridiculous amount of distance to go to a White Castle in Indianapolis at one point. I'm ashamed to admit that my hunger for White Castle was created by the movie Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. So I had to have it. I got it. So, but I did put in the effort for it. So, James said, let's sing the thing. Oh gosh. Wow. Okay, James. Hey, you deserve a giggity for that, my friend. Oh man. Harley Hudson now has turned the momentum in her favor, and she gets a 1 count. And she realizes that it's going to take a lot to keep Dani Luna down. Crowd is trying to get behind her. Oh, what a boot to the jaw of Harley Hudson from Dani Luna. That might be it. Luna landing. 1, 2, 3. Dani Luna. Wow. Makes pretty quick work of Harley Hudson. So here's a question for all of you in the chat. This is a sell or no sell TNA watch along edition. Does Dani Luna becomes Knockouts World Champion before the end of 2026? Sell or no sell? Luna landing to Myla Grace as well. Deanna, what's up, Deanna? James says, what surprises do you think we could get next week? I think we could get a few bigger WWE stars showing up next week. I think we could get a couple matches made for Genesis. But I think the biggest surprises will be, I think we will see a AJ Styles site. I think that'll be a surprise that we get. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I'm hoping for. James saying sell. Sean saying sell. Lei Ying Lee came down to help, but Dani Luna has now attacked her and has her in a sleeper. Conrad saying sell. Brandon saying sell. Christopher saying sell. I think so too. I think she'll be champ before the end of the year. I think she's almost become, I think she's gotten to a point where you have to ask questions on why it hasn't happened yet if it doesn't happen by the end of the year. Deanna saying no sell, the contrarian of the group. Zaya Brookside now goes down. So if their goal was to make Dani Luna look like an absolute threat to the Knockouts World Championship right here, right now, they've done it. Lei Ying Lee laid out, Zaya Brookside laid out, Harley Hudson out, Myla Grace out, Dani Luna standing in the middle of that ring holding up that Knockouts World title. I mean, Mara Sade and Ryan Nemeth. Ryan saying we should talk about something. Talking about all the times he's gotten his block knocked off by Mara Sade. What's up, Jason Peace? How's it going, man? Good to see you. How have you been? Ryan thinks that he thinks she's interested. She's telling him to slow down, pump your brakes, man. Doing good, Jason. She says she's going to slap the taste out of his mouth. Ryan thinks she likes him. Well, Ryan, I think that might have answered your question, buddy. I don't think she likes you like that. I think she likes kicking you in the head. I don't think she likes you as in going out on a date, that kind of thing. But she loves just super kicking you in the dome. So, wow, that was. Oh, James, you're hilarious. I'm not repeating that, but you're hilarious. And
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
so, order 4, Tasha Steelz with Mustafa Ali, the great hands behind them. They're looking for Special Agent Zero. State of the Union address is now, so we're getting that next. Wow. Elijah has tied up Special Agent Zero, and wow. Mr. Stormy saying, Jeff, with TNA moving to 9 to 11, would you think Carlos Silva would do more serious or risky storylines? I honestly don't know. I think it all, for me anyway, it all depends on what risky storylines are. What would be your definition of a more serious or a risky storyline? I think if they're going to do something darker, I think this would be a cool time to do it. They could reunite Decay. I think that'd be huge, especially given AMC's lineage with horror programming. I think that would be awesome, but we'll see. But it just all depends on what you think more serious or risky storylines are. Do I think there'll be a little more language? Probably, but other than that, I don't really know what else they'll do differently. Matthew, what's up? Did anything of note happen before the knockouts match? So, to kick off the show, the Hardys and the Righteous had a war of words, and they're going to face off at Genesis. That's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. So they those two teams will face off at Genesis, which is shaping up to be a great card, by the way. But good to see you, Matthew. Darker stories like TV-14, right? So again, I think if they're going to do anything, hopefully they bring back Decay and lean into that in terms of a darker storyline. I think that's a possibility, but we'll see. It remains to be seen. Decay hasn't really done a lot in a while, so we'll see where that lays. And we could get more of that next week. Who knows? This cleanse could be a huge dark kind of storyline too, Mr. Stormy. So you've got that you got that possibility as well. So yeah, good question though. Good question. All right, folks. So we're getting Order 4's TNA Genesis address, and we see that Special Agent Zero he's out of sorts right now. Elijah has taken care of the problem for right now, so we will see what type of state Mustafa Ali is in once he figures that out. James saying someone on SmackDown or Raw had a sign saying "Sign Agent Zero." Wow. Yeah, he's been awesome on TNA. He's been awesome. Very menacing presence for sure. Again, folks, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I greatly appreciate you rocking with me. If you don't mind, please drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. We're glad you're here. We do this every week, except for the last couple of weeks because those were the holidays. But typically we are here. Join the family. We love TNA Wrestling. We've been doing our watch-alongs for quite a few years now, and our community loves it. And it's a great chance to be a part of a family environment. So we've got the Elegance brand backstage now. So they're trying to pick a Mr. Elegance. Personal concierge says we have to. Ash is saying that's him. Do you see what I'm seeing? What? And even the guy said, what? He says, I work here. He says he's been there for 8 years. Ole Miss just score up 7-3. Thank you, Derek, for the score updates. They're saying he's perfect. They think he can be Mr. Elegance. He's not a wrestler. I don't think the Elegance brand took too kindly to the personal concierge saying he's trained some of the biggest pieces of garbage in wrestling. They're telling him to take it off. Oh wow. This is awesome. Personal concierge says we'll wax him, we'll get him to the gym, take him to Turkey for a hair transplant. Ash is smacking him on the butt. This is, I honestly don't know what we just saw, but what? What was that segment? Does it, does anyone know what that segment just was? But it was hilarious. The Elegance brand, personal concierge, they apparently now have found their Mr. Elegance, and someone has to protect the Elegance brand. I have no idea what was going on. That was absolute madness, but it was a lot of fun. So thanks for making me laugh this evening because that was hilarious. Just the sheer insanity of it all was funny. So Mustafa Ali of Order 4 coming down to the ring to address the TNA fans for his State of the Union address. And Special Agent Zero is not there for his uh, typical protection services. So will Elijah make an appearance? James, my thoughts exactly. What was that? Yeah, Mustafa Ali staying in TNA makes me happy as well. He's an excellent wrestler, and I'm so happy for him that he's really getting to do this character that he's doing right now, and uh, this is really well done. The citizens of TNA not really feeling the introduction by Miss Stills here. Special announcement: John Schuyler now, due to recent events, Order 4 has mandated some changes in TNA. I didn't know they had that type of pull, but apparently they do. Benefit the Order 4 and TNA Wrestling. Jason Hotch now, just so there's no confusion. We're going to tell you. We're going to tell you nice and slow. Okay, so now they're being insulting. Really endearing themselves to the El Paso crowd. Some of the fans letting them know that they're number one. Mustafa Ali. Clown saying Mustafa is wrestling for an indie that's local to me. Got front row in the meet and greet. That's awesome, Clown. That is so awesome. Hopefully, you'll share some pictures that we can take a look at because that's so cool that you're gonna get a chance to meet him. Yeah, I don't think he wanted to say thank you to that. Yeah, they love you, Ali. Actions have consequences, he says. Elijah, he mentions by name, if that is his real name. Such need to have a vote. You get to use your voices, he says to the crowd. So here's Ali's proposal. He's saying he's proposing no more concerts, no more guitars, no more cowboy boots, and certainly no more cowboy hats. And Tasha Steeles takes hers off and throws it out of the ring. All of those in favor. And I think we've got an overwhelming majority that has just told Mustafa Ali he can kick rocks. He says that there may have been a language barrier, so he asked them, and they're still saying no. They're going to tell him he's number one, but not with the pointer finger. I can tell you. He says he's trying to be nice about this. He's now saying you morons don't know what's good for you. I'm what's good for you, and he's trying to protect them. Wow. I got to go back and watch, Derek. Now he's talking about the horse driving him off, dragging him off. There's Elijah on the horse again. Swag fan, what up? Horse, horse. You got a horse chant. Elijah is going to the ring. Mustafa Ali is trying to get out of the ring. Order 4 is trying to get away. Ali needs to stop with, with the whole face. The horse has now found his buddy, Ali. Uh-oh. Now he's going after Order 4. The horse is over, folks. The horse is over. Still getting this contract signing, which will probably be very eventful. And that match is going to be next week on the premiere of Thursday Night Impact on AMC. And the System going up against Leon Slater, Cedric Alexander, and the Hardys in the main event. But up next, we're going to get the TNA International title match. That's going to be Stacked, your champion, going up against Steve Maclin. So let me know in the chat, folks, who do you have? You got Stacks retaining, or do you have Maclin getting back what he feels is rightfully his? Does Santana win, yes or no? Oh, that's a tough one, James. I would love to say that he does, but unless they do something between tonight and next week, unless this was their intention, I don't know that he does because of how they've had him do things recently. I feel like one of these NXT folks will interfere, and that might cost him, but I don't know. But if going with my heart, I'm going to say yes. But thinking through it, I really don't know. Showing another Tanahashi throwback match as he did retire earlier in the week. Monker saying yes, he does. Stacks to retain, says Marvin. Yeah, keep your predictions for the upcoming match coming in, folks. Again, folks, we've got Stacks and Steve Maclin coming up next. Get your predictions in for this one. Let me know who wins this one. And here's another question about this one. Does Ariana Grace get involved? And does Steve Maclin get any help? Maclin winning. Swag fans saying I got Maclin. Let's see. I'm not even touching that one, James, for several reasons. DRO saying I hope Maclin wins. Matthew says Stacks. That's right. Consequences Creed. Sanjay Dutt. Stacks says Christopher. Maclin says Brandon Barnes. They're showing the behind the scenes of Slammiversary. I gotta take a look at this. All right, well, here, James, here's my question: if Stacks wins, do they run it back at Genesis? Is Ariana going to be at ringside? That's what I'm wondering, Matthew. I don't know if Ariana is going to be at ringside. Order 4 is still running out of the venue. Ali's saying, what is wrong with him? Who chases people on horses? As he's standing right behind them. This is awesome. The way that they're shooting this. This is so well done. Kudos, TNA. it's these little things that they've done so well in the past. And I love seeing these things make a comeback, the comedic side of things. This is pretty awesome. Shout out TNA. Elijah's chasing them with the horse. It went into letterbox mode. That was awesome. Good stuff, TNA Wrestling. Oh, James saying, welcome to TNA, the Western. Mr. Stormy, does a TNA wrestler win NXT Heavyweight Championship in 2026? If so, who? I say Moose. I'll be honest. I thought that if it was going to happen, it was going to be Leon Slater. But now that it's wide open and who knows who's going to win it, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, Mr. Stormy. I am going to say yes. Give me chaos. Give me chaos. Brandon saying this is too funny. Shiloh Hill versus Stacks for the International Championship next week on NXT. Well, that spoils it. So, didn't really need to know that. So, 10-7 Miami. Steve Maclin making his way down to the ring. Well, they always do say the card is subject to change. So maybe that card will be subject to change. Marcus, who knows? Steve Maclin. And I'm curious to see what happens here because EY is like, I've been trying to get through to you, man, and you know what you got to do tonight. So let's see what happens with Maclin here tonight. Is he going to win? Will he do what EY needs him to do? We shall see. But Stacks, the TNA International champ, is about to make his way down to the ring. And not only does he have Ariana Grace, but he's got the rest of the crew with him, accompanied by the NXT Outlaws. So the numbers game already way at a disadvantage for Steve Maclin. James saying, boo these jabronis. Ray Walt said, we thought we were done with these guys. Yeah, that you thought wrong. So, of course, you got to keep an eye out for the NXT Outlaws. So, is someone going to come out and help Maclin? Because I feel like he's going to need it at some point. All right, Steve Maclin now right away. Take Stacks right down. Now he gives him a chop. He is just being vicious and violent right out of the gate. A cover here. One count. The faction is the NXT Outlaws. Jeff, what are your thoughts on Ariana's serious character? I like it. I like it too. It gives this group, so now instead of it being Well, NXT is attacking TNA because we're two different promotions, and yeah, that's cool. Now you've got a threat of these people, plus you've got Ariana Grace, the daughter of Santino, turning on him and being affiliated with this group, so it feels more personal. Uh, so yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, and Steve Maclin is liking what he's doing right now because he's causing some damage. Lexus King trying to butt his way into the match. So is Brooks Jensen. And those little distractions are just enough to cause a problem for Maclin. Gives Stacks just enough time to be able to do what he needs to do to get back into the match. Huge elbow there by Stacks. Again, Maclin is severely outnumbered in this, and I don't know. We'll see what happens here, but Stacks looks to have every single advantage that you can have right now. Going for a cover here. One count for Stacks. Got to do more than that against Maclin. Ariana Grace walking by the commentary table, not smiling as we're used to seeing. Very serious scowl on her face, we'll say. Stacks trying to keep this hold on Maclin. Maclin reverses. German suplex there for Maclin to kind of get some momentum back, but Stacks with a huge boot to the face of Maclin ended that real quick. Who would y'all have over face at Mania? I do Femi versus McIntyre. I actually like that a lot. Ghostface joining us from Twitch. How are you doing this evening? Let's see here. So the Outlaws are now beating down Maclin on the outside there. I can see Ariana Grace taking over at TNA in a match between Stacks and Santino. Wow. I don't know that I would like those stakes, Mr. Stormy. I feel like NXT ran the roost for long enough. I'd like to see something a little bit different. Ariana giving her man a kiss during the match. Stacks just delivering knees and elbows, anything he can do right now to keep Maclin grounded. Crowd saying TNA. Trying to get those TNA chants going to get behind Maclin. Don't forget SmackDown is on early tomorrow, but same time for you in America. Yes. So if you're trying to stay spoiler free, I would probably avoid social media at all costs after a certain point in time. So we are going to our next break during the match here. So we typically ask questions on this show, and I got one for you now. So with this being the new year, and I guess companies kind of trying to restart the year, tell me one thing you'd like to see each company do to add a little bit of a spark or momentum in 2026. What's something you'd like to see from each company that you would say, yeah, they're on the right track. They're gonna nail it this year. James saying, I'm so looking forward to the 3 Stages of Hell match. Yes, that's going to be a lot of fun. Folks, again, let me know in the chat if what's something you like to see each company change or address in 2026 that you feel will catapult them into the new year with a ton of momentum. And again, folks, we're still on this break in the middle of this match between Stax and Steve Maclin. We were kind of split on the predictions on this one. A lot of people think Stax will retain, especially with him having the numbers advantage down at ringside. Um, so yeah, that should be pretty. We'll see what happens at the end of this to close this one out. But Maclin is definitely in some trouble as it relates to the numbers game, and especially as we saw him before they went to break getting stomped out by the NXT Outlaws. So not looking good. I think this match might be thrown out when we get back, but we shall see. And it's already almost 9 o'clock, folks. So almost 1 hour into the show. So I just want to thank you all again for joining me this week. If you don't mind, please drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, thank you for being here. Welcome. Please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when we have future content. And our future content is as follows. We will be here on Sunday for Between the Ropes, 7:30. Tuesday, 6 o'clock for Fireflies Forever. And next Thursday, we'll start our new time for our watch along, 8:30 p.m. because TNA is moving to AMC next week, and we'll start at 9 o'clock. Throw them out. Throw them all out, referee. You caught them. What are you doing, man? You all. He throws them out. Conrad saying, I need Maclin in the world title picture. I agree. Am I excited for the Rumble this year, despite it being in Saudi and being on early? I'm excited for the Rumble every year because it's such a unique match, and you can always get some cool surprises and some folks that you haven't seen in a while. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I think for TNA, I want more consistent storytelling, keep improving on production. I like that swag, man. Not only that, but that segment that they did there with Order 4 and Elijah, that really showed me that they have those capabilities and that they can do this now, and that they have heard some of those criticisms and are stepping those things up. So that's it's promising to see. What's up, John Kessler? How are you? Steve Maclin taking out the NXT Outlaws, but did he take too much time? Stax is in a world of trouble right now. Is someone else from this crew going to get involved? That's what we have to take a look at and see. What is Ariana going to do? You know she's going to get involved somehow. Ariana's standing in the way. Come on, referee. You got to throw all these people out. Gouge to the eyes of Maclin. disqualification, and the NXT Outlaws, not All Stars, Outlaws are beating down Maclin. Stacks is going to retain. Wow. TNA injury report now coming up. Doing okay, John. Hope glad you're doing well. So Dani Luna basically put everyone on the injury report. They're all in evaluation right now. I did see that, John. Good news for TNA. Also saw that BDE was signed by TNA, which is also good news, I believe. So all participants in tonight's main event have been cleared. Matthew, I'm watching on TNA Plus. Santino has been cleared after the kick to the nether regions. Mike Santana has been cleared. James saying poor Santino. Yeah, that's going to be an awesome, awesome match. Steve Maclin is also in need of evaluation, so wow. Contract signing is still coming up. Up next, one last dance with the system for JDC. We're going to have JDC going up against JDC in the system going up against Cedric Alexander, Leon Slater, and the Hardys. So another Tanahashi clip. We've got this with Speedball Mike Bailey. Derek saying, yep, 17-10. We're getting the Hardys versus Vincent and Dutch at Genesis. Yes, that's right. John Kessler. Clown saying Santino's sister will avenge him. It's really cool that TNA is kind of going back and showing these clips now, and I hope they continue to do this on AMC. That's one thing I'm really hoping, that they somehow continue to do flashbacks to get people that maybe haven't watched TNA in a while to give them a little bit of a history lesson. They gave us a home when nobody else would, without access for a place to grow. This TNA likely never gets to a size that needs the room of AMC. Thank you. That's a post from Rosemary that James just sent me. So thank you so much, James. for sending that over. All right, folks, give me your predictions for the match that I have up on the screen. The System going up against Leon Slater, the Hardys, and Cedric Alexander. Who's your pick in that one? Johnson, I guess. Elijah is still chasing Mustafa Ali and the rest of Order 4. Yes, they are still running. Agreed. They have to show throwback clips on AMC. Yeah, I think they have to, Swag fan, because you're gonna have a ton of new people watching, and some of which have no clue of the history of TNA because they've never watched it. It's just never been their thing, whether through availability or whatever. So catch people up, give them a little glimpse into your history, and let them know about all the amazing stuff that you've done throughout your history. So, Little Silver, thank you for joining us from Twitch. Mr. Stormy, I would like to see TNA hit 1 million viewers on AMC and be the number three wrestling show. WWE, I would like to see them add more matches to their PLEs and stay in the States, except of WrestleMania. Team Slater, the System, James. I know they can watch TNA clips on YouTube, but I think that AMC should connect the dots for them, Little Silver. While I get that people can look it up, and that's great and all, but I think when you're doing something as big as this and making a move as big as this, I think you need to do a little bit of the work for the fans. I think you need to show them throwback clips. I think you need to show them highlights leading up to where you are right now over the last year. Try to catch people up. Try to really educate your fan base, because an educated fan base is a passionate one, and the last thing you want is just, you don't want people to be neutral on you. So I think those are the types of touches that make and create passionate fans. So yeah, I have thoughts on that, John. Join us on Sunday. I'll share that. I shared a little bit earlier, but they're showing clips from Leon Slater's NXT Championship match from Tuesday. Heck of a match. Obafemi wins, and after that, relinquished the title. So yeah, so Stax will be defending the title on Tuesday on NXT. Ali has resigned. Yeah, I mean, listen, as long as he's resigned in Silver, that's what I'm concerned with. If he's there another year, 2 years, 6 months, 9 months, I think it's good for TNA Wrestling. But we'll see what comes of that. AJ Francis now on a digital exclusive, saying that First Class is not done. It's always been about AJ Francis. He's saying, talking about the X Division Championship. So we're going to get something at Genesis between Rich Swann and AJ Francis. Do you think it's going to be a feud between Casey Navarro when he comes back from injury? He will team with Rich Swann. Who's going to join AJ Francis? Does he recruit another member? AJ says, but enough about losers that don't matter. Rich Swann attacks him, though. Baseball back. Yeah, I don't know who either. I would love to see Casey Navarro and Rich team up to take him out. Rich Swann breaking the table on AJ and in the first class penthouse. Breaking the record of AJ Francis. TNA chants from the crowd. Genesis is coming up. And folks, that is one that you will have to purchase. So first pay-per-view of the AMC era, says Matt Raywalt. Coming from Dallas, Texas. Tag Team World Tag Team Championship. The Hardys against the Righteous. Lei Ying Lee going up against Dani Luna for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. X Division Championship. Leon Slater going up against Cedric Alexander and Moose. JDC going up against Eddie Edwards in the final dance for JDC. Elijah going up against Mustafa Ali once he stops running from the horse at Genesis. Maybe that's when he'll finally stop running. They'll all run to Genesis. AJ Francis going up against Rich Swann at Genesis. Joe Hendry will be appearing live at Genesis. Wow. Yeah, next week is going to be a huge week for TNA Wrestling. AMC debut, Genesis on Saturday. Man, huge week next week. The Hardys and Elijah going up against Order 4 next week. Wow. That's going to be a fun match next week. TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. The Inspiration going up against the Elegance brand. How many matches left tonight? One. TNA World Championship match. Frankie Kazarian, the champ, defending against the former champ, Mike Santana. So we will see if Mike Santana can reclaim that title. Sounds like Genesis will only be available on TNA Plus. Ray Walt was saying available. Well, no, Hannafin said pay-per-view and TNA Plus. I just assumed it'd be on Triller, so maybe I'm wrong to assume. But maybe it's not on Triller. I'm not sure. maybe, and I don't know this to be a report or anything, so please don't take this as reporting or news, but maybe they are transitioning all of their pay-per-views to TNA Plus. I don't know. Francis is a trooper going through that table for Swan. Wow. The system in the ring. And after this match, we still have the contract signing for the TNA World Title match for next week. So again, we will probably get some fireworks with that. Cedric Alexander representing the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. If they do, then they need to get app for all smart TVs. I agree. Again, I don't know that to be the case. They haven't said a lot about how TNA Plus will operate with the AMC deal. I'll see if I can do some research to see if there's any kind of press release or anything out there on what their plans are with TNA Plus. Leon Slater coming down to the ring. Leon Slater, who honestly had a phenomenal, no pun intended, 2025, and I think it'll be an even better 2026 for him. So, nah, James, nah. Leon Slater, let's see. Does he keep the X Division title? That's a tough matchup he has at Genesis. So the Hardys now making their way down to the ring. And Clown, I know you told me the other tag team titles they have, but can someone remind me of the other tag titles that they have right now? Hardys, well, Jeff is out there shaking the hands of fans and Matt getting into the ring. Crowd chanting Hardys. This should be a fun match. So we're getting another break now. So give me your predictions if you haven't already for this match. Another Tanahashi flashback. And I also have another question for all of you. And seeing the most of the card for Genesis, what's your most anticipated match for Genesis? Please let me know. I think that X Division triple threat match is going to be crazy. Matthew saying Genesis 2026 is not available to order on Triller TV currently, but it is available to order on TNA Wrestling YouTube channel. Showing the match here between Alex Shelley and Tanahashi. Hashtag where are the Motor City Machine Guns? John saying, as of right now, I feel the same way about the X Division triple threat match. I got system, says Brandon Barnes. Oh, I know where they are. I'm just wondering why I don't see them. Why we don't see them, Little Silk. We know exactly where they are. It'd just be nice to see one of the greatest tag teams to ever do it. Derek, do you have a score update? (17-13) Miami at half. Got you, bonus, baby. All good, brother. Hope you're doing well. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, Dave, but Cedric Alexander, Brian Myers starting this thing off, possibly. No, we're going to get Matt Hardy in the ring. Got System winning. The Righteous come out and cause a distraction on the Hardys, says Sean Rousset. Chant offs here. Delete and Moose. Oh, what a shot there from Moose to Matt Hardy. Oh, he goes right into that turnbuckle, though. Every single turnbuckle met Moose's face there. Yeah, I mean, you got to shout out Access. I know that, you know, it's a very obscure channel and not everybody has access to it. But, it really gave TNA a home. And part of the reason why they're going to AMC is because of the success they had on Access and what they were able to do there. Will have loved to see Deonna Purrazzo back in TNA. Same here. Matthew saying Mustafa Ali versus Elijah is my most anticipated match from the current card of Genesis. That is going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure Ali will have a stipulation added no horses at ringside. Although the horse is pretty over. Leon Slater is in there now. Eddie Edwards on the receiving end of that. Now thrown into the corner. Edwards gets out of the way, but Leon Slater gives him a boot. Eddie delivers a kick while Slater's on the top rope there. James saying, what's the match you're most looking forward to? two right now. The X Division triple threat and the Knockouts World title match. Those are absolutely Matthew. You got to shout out that time too. Fightful Select, Perazo again. I'm pretty sure she's still the pure champ over in Ring of Honor right now. But I hate that she left TNA in the first place, honestly. But again, it's not about our decision making. It was about what was best for her and her family. Lish gets in on the action. The run she was on at Impact / TNA was just incredible. She did some amazing stuff. Okay. Sean saying, I know this isn't on TV, but the Motor City Machine Guns did work the holiday tour recently. Also, with SmackDown being 3 hours, hopefully we will see them more soon. I hope so. I hope so. Little Silver saying, I miss Kiera Hogan in TNA. So do I. Do you think we will see her someday again in the new TNA? She did help build TNA when it was in dark times. I think anything's possible. She's another one that I'm sad that she left. I was very sad when she left because her and Tasha had such a great thing going. But I understand people taking advantage of opportunities presenting themselves. So I get it. I do think she could return one day. I do. And I would have her and Tasha reunite if that's something that they want to do. But yeah, I think that would be cool. James, you'll never hear me complain about that, brother. Yeah, I saw people griping like, man, these guys have been here like 2 weeks and they're the tag champs. I wasn't complaining. System in control here, kind of cutting off half the ring so Leon Slater can't get to his team. Leon Slater trying to fight his way out of that corner. He does, tries to get to his team, but Moose, what a drop kick by Moose. Yeah, Moose is just unreal athletically. JDC, ooh, he really is, James. Completely agree with that comment. Brian Myers back in there now. Leon Slater's got to get a tag. Crowd is trying to get behind him. They know that Leon desperately needs a tag. 2 count there for Brian Myers. James, it's okay to occasionally boost. Brian Myers in control of this match. Crowd getting the delete chants going, and we're going to another break. All right, so here's another question for you. 2026 fantasy booking. What's a match that you absolutely must have, regardless of promotion, in 2026? What's a match that you just have to have in whatever promotion? What's a match you got to have in 2026? James saying AJ versus Leon. That is a good one. AJ versus Leon would probably be 1A on my list too. Little Silver saying whenever Chris Jericho returns to wrestling, CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, they should run it back. What's up, Tazzy? Hopefully you're doing well. Tazzy is currently doing a watch along for the college football playoff. So that's one reason why Tazzy's not here this week. He'll be back, though. He'll be back. I have not gotten a chance to see that yet, Sean Rousseau, but I will seek that out because I want to know how that happened. That's pretty cool. James says, according to my weather app, it's snowing. Man. Mr. Stormy talking about Cena facing Joe Hendry. I was hoping that would happen, Mr. Stormy, but I guess it just wasn't in the cards. Next week, AMC is the home of TNA Impact. 9 o'clock next Thursday. Again, we'll be here at 8:30 to start our watch along next week. So a little bit later, Jeff Hardy in here with the tag. Cover 2 count on Brian Myers. Leon versus AJ 1-on-1. Oba versus Karrion Kross or Killer Kross, whatever name he would go by. Tazzy saying he'll be here next week. JDC in there now throwing some punches to the dome of Jeff Hardy, throwing him viciously into those turnbuckles, into that corner. cover here, 2 count. Not a wrestling match, but Danhausen and R-Truth together in some comedy segments. I don't know. What's Danhausen's status? I haven't seen his contract status. Jeff Hardy was trying to get a little bit of momentum there, but JDC put an end to that real quick, and now Eddie Edwards is back in there. Free agent in February. Okay. Conrad saying WWE bound. Okay. Is that like a known that he's definitely interested and it's mutual? Danhausen cursing Truth and Truth truly believes he's being cursed would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Or Truth asking about the teeth. Okay. That's how I really don't look at the news, I guess, like I should. Or certain, I don't know. I guess I just don't want to look at certain sites, but Cedric Alexander kind of taking care of business right now. Moose sends him out there, but Cedric lands on the apron, delivers a kick to Eddie Edwards. Cedric Alexander's on fire right now. 2 count on Moose. Wow. Quite a sequence there for Cedric Alexander. Chop to Moose. Oh, Moose. Go to hell there by Moose. Oh, now it's breaking down. Everybody's in the ring. Yeah, Daniel Spencer's trying to do the best that he can as the referee, but he can't control these folks. The system. 1, 2, 2 count. I don't know how Cedric Alexander kicked out, but he kicked out. Wow. Leon Slater pulling Eddie Edwards out of the ring there. Moose. But it gets reversed there. Cedric Alexander gets to Jeff Hardy for the tag. Twist of fate on Moose. Twist of fate on Brian Myers. Triple twist of fate. Wow. What a bit of teamwork there. Wow. Leon Slater even took out Jeff Hardy a little bit there. Moose trying to fight back. Cedric Alexander made a tag, though. Pop-up powerbomb. Moose is in control here. Crowd chanting Moose. 1, 2, 3. Roll up by Cedric Alexander and a 3 count. Team Hardy beats the system. Wow. That was a heck of a finish to the match, though. Wow, that was amazing. Good win there for the Hardys, Leon Slater, and Cedric Alexander. Pretty fun match there. If Cedric is able to do that at Genesis, he will be X Division champ. Getting a video package here from Lei Ying Lee, the TNA Knockouts champion. Recapping her win. Sean Rousseau saying Cedric Alexander versus Javon Evans. They team together but versus each other one-on-one. I would love that. Contract signing up next. I'm not going to ask you if this goes wrong. What I'm going to ask is this. How long does this last? How long does it last before they start beating each other down? 5 minutes? 5 minutes or less? Consequences Creed. All good, John G. You're right on time. John Kessler is saying less than 5 minutes. Pretty sure he does, James. Black Machismo, Jay Lethal. Clown says 4 minutes, 20 seconds. I see what you did there. Again, I hope AMC continues some form of this. Mr. Stormy, I don't know that she has any aspirations to do that. So I don't even want to speculate or fantasy book that situation just out of respect. I I would just say that if that's something that she wants to do, I'm sure that everyone in the family has probably had that discussion at some point of how they would do it, and I would trust them to do that. Yeah, he really was amazing, James. I don't know how many people were watching during that time period of TNA, but man, it was awesome. He was awesome. They are going over the card for next week, so and they're saying you never know who could show up. Now they're starting to play up Mike Santana's path to this point. Yeah, James. Me too. James saying nice little tease. Yeah. Looks like a great card for next Thursday in Genesis. What a week for TNA. Yeah, it's going to be a huge week for TNA wrestling next week. So again, I challenge all of you if you're a fan of TNA wrestling, like I know all of you are because you're here right now, spread the word, tell a friend, hey, watch TNA next week. Give it a chance. Give it a month. So Santino addressing the crowd, saying this is an important contract signing. He was talking a little bit about people checking on him after his daughter betrayed him. Mike Santana, the challenger, making his way to the ring through the crowd as he does. Yes, she did, John. Mike Santana will be challenging for that title on the first episode of TNA Thursday Impact on AMC. Santino waiting on Santana there to get in the ring. Now he is. And of course, we got to get the champ down here. Frankie Kazarian. Bet it was James. A little awkward. And we've got the champ, Frankie Kazarian. And folks are bringing up a good point. Nick Nemeth still has his ability to cash in. So keep that in mind next week, too. This thing could very well turn into a triple threat, or Nick Nemeth can come in and do the same thing that Frankie Kazarian did to Mike Santana. So there are possibilities and ways this could go wrong next week. It was originally slated for Genesis. Have to have our champion, number one contender on that program. Santino tells Santana if he loses, he's to the back of the line. Wow. So if Santana wins, he'll have a match at Genesis. Chris saying, what channel is it on? I can't find it. It's on TNA Plus and Access TV. This is the last week that it's on Access TV. Next week it will be on AMC. Frankie's saying he's going to admit something he's never publicly disclosed. And Trick Williams get his rematch if Santana loses. Frankie's saying he has an addiction. His addiction. He's addicted to being the TNA World Champion. Santana's just looking at him like, dude, just shut up. That's what Santana's looking like right now. Frankie says he'll do anything to retain that title. See what Santana has to say now. He says, listen, since we're being honest, he says we were both at the same place, miserable as all hell. People try to drain the passion out of what we love most. We helped each other out and left that place. Wow. Santana's talking about his journey to this moment, saying that he stepped back into TNA about 2 years ago. Says this time he's doing it for him. He says he promises Frankie and the fans that he will walk out a 2-time TNA World Champion. If I can't do that, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not the man you say I am. Maybe I don't have what it takes. And maybe I don't even have a place here in TNA. I'll tell you this. I'm going to sign that contract. I'm going to beat you in Dallas. All right. Nick Nemeth, his music hits. Oh boy. And he has the gauntlet trophy. Oh boy. Nemeth says, "Isn't this nice? I think we forgot about someone." You're forgetting about me and the reason for the season. Nick says he's the reason. No, you didn't, James. Tells Frankie, I don't like you. And I sure as hell don't like you to Mike Santana. He says you two are going to beat the living hell out of each other. You have to. He says, then little old me is going to be waiting off in the wings, ready to call my shot, ready to walk out as the TNA champion. Beat each other down, live for it. I don't care. Nemeth says, sign your paperwork. Sign your paperwork. No one cares. What is Santana doing here? What is Santana doing? All right, he's signing. Frankie's reading it. He's telling the crowd to hold on while he reads it. He's being thorough, folks. He's being thorough. Like you're not trying to get something over on me, are you? Frankie has signed it. Telling Santana that he has signed his death warrant. So the furniture hasn't moved yet, which is a good thing. We got no furniture moving. But we did get chaos with Nick Nemeth. All right, folks. the last episode of TNA on Access TV. And that is how it ends, folks. We get a huge, huge moment at the end there in that contract signing. James called it out earlier. He said, Nick Nemeth is probably going to cash in. And, well, he made his intentions known. So, wow. Pretty interesting stuff there. So we're going to wrap this episode up of this watch along. But what I want to do before we go is I want you to tell me two things. Tell me your match of the night or segment of the night. And then I also want you to give me your scores for the evening. Please, and thank you. Marvin says TNA was a 9 out of 10. Fire. Awesome says Swag fan. I don't think it will happen on Genesis for Nemeth. That's the other thing too, is that if he doesn't do it on Thursday, he could do it on Saturday. So keep that in mind. 9 out of 10 says Chris. 9.5 says Little Silver. 9 says Matthew. Danny Luna says John Kessler. Tonight's show was 9 out of 10 for Christopher. 9 out of 10 for Eric. You met Danny Luna. Says John. Okay. Gotta watch the replay, says Swag fan. Yeah, I thought it was a really good show tonight. Good way to close out their time on Access TV and really hype up next week's episode. That's what you really wanted to see from TNA tonight, is to really get people into next week's episode and give them a reason to be there. And they really have set up next week as a must watch. So definitely want to see that for the debut episode on AMC. Brandon Wayne Lewis says 10 out of 10. Keep those scores coming. Thank you, Brandon Salmon. Good night, and God bless you as well. Let me keep those scores coming. We'll hang out for another minute or so, and then we'll wrap this one up. I'll just give my thoughts real quick. Thought tonight was really good. Great way to set it up. I'm going to go with the 9 out of 10, especially with this being their final show on Access TV. Like Swag fan just said, thank you to Access TV. You gave TNA Wrestling a home when not many people would, not anyone would. So thank you for doing that. Danny Luna was the best part, says Brandon Barnes, 9 out of 10. Good night. Marvin, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to be a pain in the behind one more time and ask you all to drop a like on the video if you don't mind. And if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We're here every week. We will be here next week for the debut episode of TNA on AMC, and that will start at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we are moving our time for our TNA watch along. So please be mindful of the time change. We will post it on social media. We'll post it on YouTube, but we will be moving to 8:30 since the show is moving to 9 p.m. Barry Monkey says 8.5 out of 10 for me. Thank you, Barry Monkey. Hopefully you're doing well, man. Have a good night, clown. Marvin said fire. Sean say 9 out of 10. Match of the night was the System versus the Hardy. Okay. Yeah. Cedric and Leon. That was a fun match. A lot of fun with that match for sure. All right, folks. Well, that's it for us this week. We are going to be back on Sunday for Between the Ropes at 7:30. And then we will be here on Tuesday for Fireflies Forever. And next week, if you're a TNA Wrestling fan, it's a huge week. Thursday, 8:30 p.m., we're going to be here for the debut episode of TNA Wrestling on AMC. And Saturday, we will be here for the watch along for Genesis. So come hang out with us next week. Thank you all so much for your support, for your opinions and your reactions and conversation in the chat throughout the evening. Greatly appreciate you. That's it. That's all, folks. Take care. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you next time.
TNA!